Yes, it's Russian. It's time to play the game.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Second Level Sports. It's been so long. We've had holidays, we've had weeks off, but now it's time to hit the grindstone in 2026. And we promised you more. We're bringing you more content, we're bringing you more shows, and we're bringing you a brand new person to fill out our starting five. We've got Clay here with us on loan. We traded for him for cash considerations, and he's going to join the team as our fifth man. Tell the people some things about sports, Clay. What do you do right now?
I don't know if I'm even worth cash considerations at this point, especially since I'm rolling in sick. That's not a great start.
Yeah, if you want to Xbox cough directly into the microphone, that'll go over well on somebody's meme format. All right, so we've got the playoffs coming up. We've got lots of NBA trade rumors. Let's just get right into it, guys. So I'm curious, just because we've got all these playoffs coming up and MVP races, offensive and defensive rookie of the year races, things like that. I am curious from a debate standpoint. We'll go through the top three at least for the MVP race because it's never the same. The levels are not the same. How many playoff games do each of our top three NFL MVPs need to win to secure the MVP slot? So I'm talking Drake May, Matt Stafford, Josh Allen. That's kind of everybody's unanimous top three for MVP. If you want to include Myles Garrett, you can, but he's not in the playoffs. So we'll go with our three that are actually in there. In your guys' opinion, we'll start with Drake May because he's the first name I said. How many games does Drake May have to win in the playoffs, or does he even need to win any to win MVP?
I'm just double checking. Just double checking. The MVP. The MVP doesn't count for the playoffs, right? Or does that change?
It doesn't really, but I'm sure it sways voters anyways, because they do it in that wild week right before the Super Bowl with the Pro Bowl and stuff. They do the NFL awards literally right before that.
Personally, I think if he even just comes out and wins that first round, it's already saying something, because this is a Patriots team that's been told that they've had an easy schedule all year, and now they've made it to the playoffs, and they're playing under the big lights, everything like that. Drake May he's just a second-year quarterback. Coming out winning a game like that, I think one would probably do it for me, but I think to really kind of nail it in, just because I think Matthew Stafford and the Rams are going to do really good, I think two is probably what he's aiming for. He wants to at least get to the conference championship.
Yeah, I can buy that, at least for him. Clay, Nate, what do you guys think?
I think Drake May probably has an advantage over Allen and Stafford simply because, Patriots won the division.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, he's already proven that he can lead a team to a division title. I think, Allen and Stafford are probably going to have to do a little bit more. But I think that Josh Allen's probably a quarterback that's capable of doing it. I just think the NFC is tough. I think Matt Stafford, if they get to the NFC Championship, I think you're going to have a hard time going against Stafford. It's really tough, right? And the Bills are a team that they've been kind of inconsistent this year, right? And Josh Allen has kind of willed them into the playoffs at this point. Their offensive line hasn't been great. Their weapons are lackluster. Their defense has been fine, but Josh Allen and James Cook are clearly the two best players on that team.
Yes.
I think. You can shout out Greg Rousseau, who's had a good year defensively, but, they're a really top-heavy team. And, I think Josh Allen's probably your front runner just simply because of what he's already proven.
Yeah.
So it's a really weird picture, you could definitely say.
No, it is for sure, and Josh Allen's definitely at the back of that. But, Nate, are we thinking that because we were just saying that MVP votes maybe don't count for the playoffs. If the Bills can make it all the way to the Super Bowl, does Josh Allen get a nod at all? Does he beat Drake May or Matt Stafford to the punch at all if he goes all the way?
I mean, I don't know. Right now, for me, I have not really had to define the top three myself, but I know it's them three. I think it probably, I think it's between Drake May and Stafford, then it's Allen. So I mean, it's kind of hard just because it's the postseason now. To kind of it's an uphill battle for Josh Allen. If he can definitely get the Super Bowl, that would be a huge factor because getting the Bills to Super Bowl championship would be big, especially getting past Drake May or something like that.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
It'll definitely be interesting. Josh Allen has the highest bar to clear if he wants to win MVP for sure. I think you guys are right. I think Drake May has the easiest path. Winning a game or two will definitely... I think if he wins two, he wins MVP outright. If the Rams, for some reason, can't get past the second round and the Patriots go to the championship game, it's over. It's Drake May. That seems pretty simple for me. Especially if Matt Stafford can't make it past the Panthers again. It's Drake May easy.
I know.
Yeah. I think it's mainly between them two for real. I think it's really Drake May and Matthew Stafford. And it's a slight, not too big of a gap, but it's a slight gap between them two and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Just based on how the seasons went out, how the seasons fared in the regular season. Because for a while in the regular season, I felt like it was Stafford, but then at the end of the season, he kind of tailed off a bit. And the Rams teared off a tad bit too. And then Drake May has been steady all year long, and he's jumped him. And so it's basically a boxing match between Drake May and Matthew Stafford. With Matthew Stafford, he has 46 touchdowns, and I think he's close to 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
He has obviously ability to win Super Bowl with us. And of course, Drake May has been extremely efficient while having the highest deep shot rate. He has the highest completion percentage while having the most down deep passes.
Yeah. And
he's obviously led the Patriots from being the bottom of the division to now the division winners. And while I think the Rams have a higher ceiling in the postseason than the Patriots do, personally, I think it's tough. I don't know. It's Drake May and Matthew Stafford. It's almost tired. To me. I can't. Both kind of cancel each other out low key to me.
Yeah.
Because of what they've done.
I told somebody when I was at work that if you had told me 2 weeks ago who was going to be in the Super Bowl, I would have told you it doesn't really matter because whoever goes in the AFC is going to get mashed by the Rams.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 weeks of the season happened. So now everybody's on the fence. Now I don't know what to think.
And there's been a lot of teams that have snuck their way up throughout the rest of the season too. The Jaguars ended the season on a really good note. They look like a really good team.
Yes.
Yeah, they're Jacksonville's on fire. Houston snuck their way back up there through the rest of the season. Their defense looks great. There's just so many sneaky teams.
Yeah.
The field is so open, it feels like.
Yeah. I'm glad to see that elite defense is making a return. We love that. But speaking of which, that's actually a nice segue into the next thing I kind of want to talk about is we all saw Myles Garrett break the sack record this past week, which great for him. Shout out Myles Garrett. fantastic defender, one of the best edge rushers of our generation, so it seems. But Michael Strahan's a little upset at it. He says he was given extra games. Are NFL pundits correct when they say we need to put an asterisk next to everybody's record?
He had less snaps than Michael Strahan too, but he had less snaps than Michael Strahan and TJ Watt. Significantly less snaps than both of those players, and he broke the record. Okay, I get the games thing, sure, I guess. He's kind of, I can see his point a little bit there, but I mean, he still did it in a significantly less snaps.
Yeah, the snap count is what I was looking at as well.
He literally could have. And let's say the season would have ended last week. He would have still tied him. He still tied him.
Did Myles Garrett create and enforce an 18th game or 17th game?
Oh.
No, he didn't.
No.
You can't penalize a player for something that he didn't do.
No, right. Yeah. You could say he got an extra game, but I mean, if anything, it's like that's another game you're having to fight, like put your body through. I mean it's not like it's anything easy.
And to counter argument, Michael Strahan, I mean, we're not going to talk about how he got that sack record, right? How Brett Favre basically gave himself up for him to get sacked.
They were saying that Joe Burrow did that to hand Myles Garrett one. I'm not inclined to believe that.
Immediately knew people were going to think that.
No, I think Joe Burrow saw that he was about to be eaten alive, and he just took it. That's all I think happened right there.
Joe Burrow's being held together by duct tape and rubber bands right now. He's not about to go down.
No.
Like by the hands of Myles Garrett.
No, not a chance. Not even close. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because even if what other records, I feel like that's going to be all of them, that old NFL guys, when one of these new guys passes them, they're going to be like, oh, they had another game. It's like, yeah, that's not up to them. If they wanted to load manage and play the same amount of games that the old heads did, then okay, they're probably still gonna beat your records.
Mm-hmm.
We've got hyper athletic athletes out there. I don't know if you guys have seen it. There's this picture of Myles Garrett when he was 14. Looks like a full-grown man. I don't know if you guys have seen that picture floating around, but he looks like a full-grown man at 14.
Oh, yeah.
I was a string bean at 14. I still am, and nothing's changed. So I don't know. That kind of thing is just going to get even more annoying, I think. As long as there's records to break and more games and more money to make in the NFL. Like,
that's just a big sport.
Yeah.
To be honest. There's always just old heads in every single sport that hate on the new generation. So that's just comes to the territory.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it is what it is.
Yeah. Everybody's a big fan of those kind of like snap count stats and stuff anyways. So I don't know why everybody's getting bent out of shape about these, because they do at least 3 of those a game where they show like, oh yeah, the last players to have 300 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and yada yada, and also slept with their wife the night before. It's like all these players and then a random guy right at the end that's playing in the game. Like, they've done that the whole time.
Yeah.
They've done that the whole time.
I think the old heads they don't like change. I mean, really, when it comes to anything, especially with their sports, man, they don't like to see them change. Like, I was on the phone with my dad earlier today talking about football, and he was like, "Why are they playing on Saturday so much this year? He's like, it should be Sunday, Monday, and Thursday, and like that should be it." And They just don't like to see things change, and I get it to a point because I know I will be them one day. Because
Mhm.
whenever I'm in my 40s or 50s and my kids are growing up watching sports, they're gonna be talking about some new fad quarterback in the league, and I'm gonna make them sit down and I'm gonna make them watch Peyton Manning highlights and be
Right.
like, "Let me show
Yeah.
you what the gunslinger looked like." So I mean, I get it. It's gonna be to a point, but then they make excuses just because those were their guys. That's their era.
Yeah. I don't know. That the asterisks start coming into play in another like 100 years when some of these quarterbacks come in with bionic arms. That is when you start putting the asterisks in. That's when you start doing that. When you get the hyper athlete that is more robot than man.
That can kick 100-yard field goals. And stuff.
Literally. Cam Little can basically do that already. We might need to check him. Man, I don't know. The Jaguars, Clay, you'll have to divulge for us a little bit about the Jaguars since they're your team. They look like the most complete team in the playoffs. How did they do it?
I don't know if I feel good about saying that they're the most complete team, but I feel pretty confident about it, about this playoff run. It's interesting because I've seen a lot of discourse that some NFL pundits seem to think that the Jaguars' number one run defense isn't good.
Right.
I want to understand what about that is bad. Having the number one run defense, how's that bad? But anyways, I think that here's my thing. If they take out the Bills, I think they have a path to the Super Bowl. Now, here's my thing. If C.J. Stroud even remotely plays like he did a couple years ago, it's done. The Texans are going straight to the Super Bowl. That's just what's going to happen. I think the Chargers' offensive line is awful. I don't think the Chargers are a team that can make a run. They might be able to upset the Patriots, but beyond that, I don't really see a run in their future. The Broncos, I think, are a team that can get there. They're the number one seed for a reason. I'm not going to disrespect them. They've had a really good season. For me, your Super Bowl is coming down to, Broncos, Jaguars, Texans in the AFC. NFC, I think it's the NFC West. I just don't see any reason that it's anyone other than the NFC West. I'm not in on the Eagles this year. I don't know. I just have reason to feel that the NFC is stacked in the West.
Yeah. I tend to agree with that. I think I am all for a AFC South representative in the Super Bowl. I am more than happy with that. I'm always a fan of Super Bowls having like brand new matchups. Nothing infuriates me more than Chiefs Eagles or Cowboys and Bills 3 years in a row. It's gotta be new teams matching up. I really like when they do that. I saw lots of people saying that it'd be fun to see Bears Patriots, and I sort of agree. But we've also seen that before, way back in '85. So yeah, the Texans and Jaguars are my one hope to be like, yes, a 100% perfectly pure Super Bowl matchup where they've never ever matched up before. It's perfect. That is
made it.
Yeah, exactly. So Nate, we're looking at the Jaguars and going that they're a mostly complete team. The Texans kind of need to turn on their offense to do anything in these playoffs. How does that happen?
First, I think, like Clay said, we also have a good path to the Super Bowl. I mean, first off, good to Steelers, and the social media's been trying to scare me with the Steelers. They're trying to show me things that I might be scared about playing them, but for the most part, we should be fine with the Steelers. We should be fine. Should be fine, Steelers. You never know, but we should be fine there. And then they go against the Patriots or Chargers. I think most likely it'd be the Patriots because the Chargers are just basically a dead fish in the playoffs. I mean, they're banged up to the core. I mean, banged up. Just think the Patriots will handle them pretty well, unfortunately for Justin Herbert, but they just have no O-line.
Yeah.
At all. not 100% inexperienced, but there's some pieces where the inexperience of Drake, like with Drake May, this is his first playoff run, and a bunch of like some of the core pieces. He's the inexperience overall could be a major factor, and then with the Texas defense, that of course is just gonna cause Drake May some problems, could make him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
With the outline not being the craziest for the Patriots, it's okay, but it's not stout like you would like to be against the Texans D line. And then I just think I think the AFC is, I think they have a favorite matchup. But as far as the offense is concerned, it's been mixed. It's been up and down, of course. We've had stretches where um we've had a light glowing. The thing is, like, we start off the games like cooking. We can start off cooking. That's the same thing with the last regime with Bubba Sloak. We would start off cooking.
Yeah.
Like we get play action pass going, we go downfield. But then once we kind of get a lead and stuff, we get comfortable. And obviously we have the privilege to get comfortable with the defense, but we kind of get conservative as we start running the ball a little too much, and like second and long when we don't have the run game to do such a thing, instead of instead of using the play action game, which to me is like which is CJ Stroud's bread and butter, is the play action passes,
Right.
getting them play action boots run out of the pocket, that sort of plays, and we kind of get stagnant. But thankfully, the defense has been able to come in the win us the victory and then the Kaimi Fairbairn.
Right.
But ultimately, I think what the offense needs to do to just I don't know. I mean, if it's just to be good, to find itself more, is we just need to be consistent. Don't change what's working, like we have basically for the past 2 years. Don't change what's working in the first half if it's working. So that's the main thing with the offense. I think the Texans need to do
Yeah.
is
Just for
keep
the sake of
doing what
changing
you're
it.
doing when it's working.
Yeah, I think the Patriots' biggest problem and something the Texans might be able to exploit is the Patriots are one of the only teams in the playoffs that doesn't have the greatest pass rush. You can make the argument for several other teams, most other teams in the playoffs, that they have a pretty good to decent pass rush. The Patriots don't really have an insane pass rush at all. So, Carter, it comes to me and you. We were talking about this before everybody else got on, and we're staring down the barrel of Bears versus Packers Part 3. What do the Packers have to do to beat the Bears?
Phew. Honestly, man, I think the biggest thing it's going to come down to is defense. We all saw what happened in that Packers-Ravens game. I mean, they just completely got exposed. I mean, granted, Derrick Henry did have, a King Henry type of game, and it is Derrick Henry. There's a two-headed monster in Chicago that we need to worry about, and I don't know if we're as well equipped to handle that kind of run game now. Secondary as well. Caleb Williams has been finding his receivers really well. I was looking through, just cruising through stats the other day, and I was looking at the Bears wide receiver core, and there's like 4 different receivers, I think, with 600 or 700 plus receiving yards already this year. And our secondary has been hit or miss this year. Guys are either on that game or they're really off, getting burnt in coverage. So really, all around in the defense, we're just going to have a really structurally sound game. I think our offense will look better because Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs is supposed to be back. But I'm also hoping they don't have any rust that they got to knock off. They got to be able to play the full game. They can't start slow because I think that the Bears are going to start hot.
Yeah. I tend to agree with that. The Bears offense, at least from looking at them on paper standpoint, I think you're absolutely right in our receivers are really good. Our tight end room is really good. Everybody's messing with Caleb Williams this year about how his completion percentage is so low. I feel like I saw a stat at some point, or maybe somebody brought it up on one of their shows. he has had so many receivers drop passes that if guys would catch like 3 more balls a game, he would be top 10 in completion percentage. Because right now he's sitting like bottom 4th of the league. If our guys would catch 3 more balls a game, he would be top 10. That feels more like a receiver problem to me, but I think they're getting that sorted out. I think later as the season went on, they figured out that they have 2 first-round talent rookies and have really been using them both here recently. I think what the Bears have to deal with on their defense as well, I think they have to deal with defensive problems as well, as you guys will probably all agree. Maybe there's another defense that we can think of off the top of their head. Maybe it's the Chargers. I don't know. But the Bears arguably have the most, because we've all heard the adage before that you need to be a bend, don't break defense. Like you can let them down the field so far and then you need to hard stop them. The Bears have the most bendable defense I've ever seen. They are the most bendable defense. They will get people all the way to like the 2-yard line and somehow stop them for field goals. That is how we stayed in that Lions game for the most part, is stopping them at literally the 1-yard line and making Jake Bates hit field goals. That's the only reason we even had a chance in that game. I feel like the bend don't break defense can work okay, but they need to like solidify just a little bit more. And I've liked the season that Nashawn Wright has had. He's done really well this year. I think adding CJ Gardner-Johnson when Kyler Gordon went down was super essential, and they've both played really well, but they've been very hit or miss in coverage this year as well.
Yeah.
As I said it in some other podcasts that we were doing, that Nashawn Wright is the Jameis Winston of cornerbacks. He's gotten like 5 interceptions this year, but the next week he'll get burned for like over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's just kind of how his season's gone. And then CJ coming in, he's been playing mostly nickel. I'm not 100% convinced that's his favorite spot to play on the field, because sometimes he doesn't act like he likes playing there. But I'm not here to argue with him. He's played really well for us. I think to beat the Packers, we've got to figure out, we need to eliminate big plays. We can't let your receivers get over the top. We can't let Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs go, and we need to figure out how to stop Josh Jacobs. Now, the real problem for the Bears is going to be, and this is going to infuriate me, if Matt LaFleur has saved Matthew Golden for the playoffs, I'm going to fight somebody. If that's all if he's saved your first round pick for the playoffs, I'm going to kill someone.
I can't tell you how many times I have expected a Matthew Golden touchdown at some point this season, and for 17 games I've just been disappointed. And I would like to see him. I'd like to see him break out. I really would. If there was a time for Matt LaFleur to finally realize, hey, we drafted a wide receiver in the first round this year, maybe we should use him, it should be right now.
Right.
So I hope he kind of comes to his senses.
Yeah. Lots of interesting playoff games coming our way. I think it's going to be a fun playoffs. It's been a fun season of football, quite frankly. I don't know if it's just because the Chiefs were bad or not. I have a feeling it is. But it was a fun season of the NFL just all the way through. But let's shift focus slightly, because we've got several college football fans that listen to the broadcast. What kind of crack cocaine garbage is the college football playoffs on, and all these transfers? Clay, Nate, Carter, what are these guys doing right now? What are the playoffs looking like? How are some of these teams pulling this off?
I think Ole Miss is riding off of anger and spite. and
Yeah.
it's getting them
Yeah.
far.
Yes.
It is.
I will be more than
it's
happy
saving
if
the
Ole
fran-
Miss goes all the way.
And they're saving the program. Actually,
Yeah.
genuinely saving the program because now they're looking to keep Kawan Lacey. They're looking to keep Chambliss if he does stay another year.
Yeah.
They've got some nice transfers coming in, like then they got Jay Crawford in from Auburn. They got some guys that Ole Miss is actually looking at. They still might be sticking around a little bit next year after what looked like they're about to be going down a hellhole when Lane Kiffin left.
Mm.
And that's thanks to this. I think that large part of this playoff run, they saw that hey, okay, Lane Kiffin, he don't care. He ain't nothing to us.
Right.
We Ole Miss. We Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin's Lane Kiffin. He ain't do nothing. He ain't do nothing here.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna laugh when they make it all the way. I need them to make it all the way. Clay, what are you thinking? What are you looking at in these? Because there's been several. I admittedly should have watched more of their games, but I was shocked by how many points Indiana beat Alabama. It wasn't really that many, but they did really well.
I'm not. They're a legit team.
Yeah.
You know, I think that this playoffs has, proven, especially at the collegiate level, that the regular season doesn't mean a whole lot.
Yeah.
Now, you have to be good enough in the regular season to get to the playoffs to lock your spot in. So it takes a certain amount of diligence in the regular season. You can't just screw around and try to back your way in unless you have a paper soft schedule, which certain teams did, but, others didn't. And I'm looking at you, Ohio State. You had a paper thin schedule. Indiana had a better schedule than you. Indiana had a better schedule. And people that try to tell me that they were both bad, I don't know. Indiana's a pretty legit team to me, and they've proven that, right? And Oregon, they kind of have had a pretty easy path, you could say, to the quarterfinals based simply on roster talent. I know Texas Tech's going crazy in the portal right now. I get that, but Oregon's roster right now is still more talented than Texas Tech. They got James Madison. We had James Madison and Tulane both make the playoffs this year because the ACC was absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And yet Miami is still in the semifinals. It's crazy. I don't understand on earth what has happened to the ACC this year. But what I will say is that you have 3 teams in it that have not won a national title ever. And the other team has not won a national title since 2001, and that's Miami.
Yeah.
So you're going to have some history that's going to get made this year, regardless of format. And I don't know. I really see it to be very difficult for a team to beat Indiana. I'm just telling you, the winner that comes out of the Indiana-Oregon game is winning it all.
100%.
I don't
Yeah.
see. I just don't
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
You talk about consistency, and I think, heck of a run that Ole Miss is on, and they may end up being the team to take out Miami. I just can't believe in Miami in any capacity. They can win a couple. They just have a lot to prove to me.
Yeah.
For me to ride them all the way. So I'll probably take Ole Miss and the winner of Oregon Indiana. That one's a toss up to me. We saw Indiana beat Oregon in Eugene earlier this year. But I don't know. I just think Indiana is an inevitable team this year. You're going to have Indiana, Ole Miss, and may the best man win.
Yeah, I can
like
definitely buy that. I
Yeah.
think on top of having whoever wins Indiana, Oregon probably make it all the way, I think whoever makes it all the way also gets picked first in the draft between Mendoza and Moore. Because they're kind of the top 2 quarterback options right now. I think that game also may decide who goes first in the draft. I could see that happening.
Who's got the number 1 pick? Is it the Raiders?
It is the Raiders.
Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got Mendoza going to Las Vegas. That
Vegas,
that
baby.
doesn't feel right. I don't know why. I don't know why. That doesn't feel like a
It's the Raiders, I guess.
yeah. That's about it. That's about all I got
Well,
for them.
it could be. It's either that or the Jets.
Yeah.
It's either that or the
Yeah.
Jets. Because
Anytime,
they're 1-2. I feel bad for whoever goes go to the Jets. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's if any player that goes to either two of those teams, it's like, well, it was good knowing you, man.
Yeah. We'll definitely see how that goes. I don't know. As far as other playoff teams, which of the teams that have been eliminated already need the most retooling? Is it Alabama or is it somebody else?
If Alabama, I don't know. I feel like Alabama's inevitable to get into the playoff. It feels like at this point that as long as they can scrape by with 2 or 3 losses, they can make it.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think Ohio State kind of had a wake up call for sure. And, I'll give it to Georgia. They're playing a team with a lot of momentum going their way. They got a lot to play for. But Georgia should have played a whole lot better in that game.
I'm with
than they
Carter.
did.
Yeah.
I'm with
Yeah.
Carter. Here's the thing: Ohio State's going to have Julian Sayin coming back, and when you have a quarterback of that caliber, let's not forget Sayin was top 5 in Heisman this year.
Yeah.
Really behind Mendoza and more in Pavia in that respect. It really, I would say that
Mhm.
he was probably second behind Fernando Mendoza, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
A lot of people felt that whoever won the Big Ten championship was going to win the Heisman. That ended up being Mendoza. We could be talking about Julian Sayin as a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback if that game goes differently.
Mhm.
With that being said, there's obviously going to be some positions of need for Ohio State, like there is for every team every year. But I don't think that they need to retool. They already have a crazy amount of NIL money. They won't have to, do much to throw out cash and say, you know what, let's get this player, and this player from the portal that we want to have. But Georgia, on the other hand, I think is an interesting conversation. They're good every year, and that's a testament to how good of a coach Kirby Smart is. But I also think that the SEC and largely the Big Ten, but some other conferences as well, are starting to figure out the Georgia formula. I feel like so. Kirby Smart may want to consider. I'm not saying he changes up how he does everything, but he might want to bring in some new wrinkles and some new and fresh players.
So what are you thinking? What are you talking about when we're saying Georgia formula? When you say Georgia formula, what are we looking at?
We're talking about an elite defense. I would not say their defense has been elite this year in any capacity. So maybe they go a different direction with a couple of their position coaches. I don't know. And then they go after some different players. We've seen some Georgia defenders hit the portal. I think of their starting safety, Aguero. He hit the portal today. Curious to see where he ends up going. But I think that, we know the Georgia defense is going to be really good. But it hasn't been. So that's a little bit of a weird spot for me. But I'm not sold on Gunnar Stockton. I think he's okay. But
No. Yeah.
This is a Georgia team that had owned Tennessee for years. And the games were not even remotely competitive. And all of a sudden this year, Tennessee takes Georgia to the wire. They should have won that game. We'll not talk about how that one ended.
Right.
We missed a kick that should have won us that game. But all of a sudden, Tennessee goes from being not competitive with Georgia at all to automatically figuring out the formula that Georgia's been running with. And not only that, taking a huge lead into the second quarter because Tennessee dominated that first quarter against Georgia. And it's not just that game either, but I think that the SEC as a whole, and maybe this is where this goes, is that the SEC is not as strong as it used to be.
Yeah.
I think before we go there, I want to say the team in the playoffs, I think, has a lot to prove. I guess prove or improve. It's Texas A&M. I mean, Texas is an A&M up until the game against Texas. Right? Yeah, Texas. They were dominant, but that was mainly due to their schedule not being all that great. Right? And they played Texas and they get embarrassed. Okay, that's one game. And against Miami, it was a slugfest, an ugly slugfest. And so now that brings us to the offseason where they're gonna lose a whole bunch of people. They lost the OC. They're losing Casey Concepcion. They lost. They're losing people on defense. This team is off of a great year, but as we're seeing, once they finally play two great teams, great teams that can slow A&M down, they kind of crumbled. They crumbled, and so I'm curious. I curious to see how they do with them losing Klein to Kansas State, losing Casey Concepcion, who's likely a top round, like at least at latest a round 2 pick.
Yeah.
Losing a bunch of guys on defense, losing some guys in the O line. A&M's a team that they could. I don't know. They're an interesting team. I like Marshall Reed. I like him a lot. I love Mario Craver. But I just wonder how legitimate this team will be now that they were kind of exposed, and now that teams personnel is going to they're going to lose a lot of the key pieces.
Yeah.
So they're a team that I think that are the most to prove going into amongst the playoff teams to me going into next season.
Yeah, I think Texas A&M, and this sounds bad to say, but I think Texas A&M might have been this year's SEC flash team. Like there's kind of the standard people that always make the playoffs, the Alabama, Georgia, the standard bunch at the top. There's always one team that's like, "Oh, Auburn made it. Texas A&M made it. Tennessee made it." Huh. And then you don't see him again for like 3 years. I feel like that's been a consistent theme in SEC play. I don't know if that's based on schedule or whatnot. I think you could argue that last year's might have been Tennessee, because Tennessee played pretty well this year too. Not well enough to fully make a playoff run, but last year it could be argued it was Tennessee. This year is Texas A&M. I think there's always going to be an SEC flash team. I think this might have been Texas A&M's year to be a flash team. Yeah, and then as far as who we have, let's do this first. What is your college football championship final? Who's in it?
Ole Miss, Indiana.
Ole Miss,
Indiana wins that.
Okay. What else are we looking at?
What you got, Carter?
I just don't trust that.
Ole Miss, Indiana.
Well, for the sake of differing, I know I said Ole Miss, Indiana earlier. I can see it being Ole Miss and Oregon. I think that, everybody's riding so high on Indiana right now. They feel like Indiana is almost insurmountable at this point, not only just because they beat Oregon earlier in the year. They took out Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship. They absolutely ran through Alabama. And now I get it. Alabama was vastly overrated this year. And they're not as good as they have been in years past, right, with Nick Saban. But, they completely ran through Alabama like they were absolutely nothing. I could see a world where Indiana disappoints in that game and Oregon takes advantage of it. Let's remember that Oregon has been in this situation, not this exact situation, but they've made trips to the playoffs before, and they've come up short. But I think that experience could actually lead to, a little bit of a play for an advantage for Oregon, I think you could say. So I would not be surprised at all to see it beat Oregon and Ole Miss. And I just think that we're all riding off Miami simply because they have, even with the 2 wins that they've gotten, you can find a flash in the pan. But I don't think that they're this year's Notre Dame. I don't. I think more likely is that Ole Miss is playing more like this year's Notre Dame, which, by the way, Notre Dame was what were they? They were a 10 seed.
Yeah.
Or were they the 7? They were the 7, and they went all the way to the championship and lost to Ohio State. I think Ole Miss is more playing like that than Miami is. Do want to credit Miami's defense because they've played well.
Yes.
But if you're telling me who you taking in a quarterback battle, let me pose this back to you guys. Who you taking in a quarterback battle? Carson Beck or Trinidad Chambliss?
Chambliss every day of the week. Chambliss. I can't trust Beck for life. I can't trust Beck. I can't trust him.
Chambliss for sure. Beck, the only redeeming quality that makes me think about Carson Beck is, he's been here before. He's been through the playoffs before. He's won. I mean, he knows he's been through that situation before. But I've been saying this to people. I don't think he's got enough gas in the tank to be able to stick it out and win one through for Miami. He's going to
No.
crumble in one game.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to look at Chambliss next year and see where they're at. I don't know if I fully trust, especially quarterbacks. I don't know if I fully trust quarterbacks that are quite literally dodging the draft, dodging the NFL draft to keep playing college football for more money. I don't know if I trust either of them long term. I don't think it matters who wins that game. They're going to be crushed by whoever wins Oregon, Indiana. It might make for a stinky national championship game, but I don't know if it's going to be very close. Whoever wins Oregon, Indiana might take the whole thing, and I'm more than happy with that. I like my college football playoffs without Georgia and Alabama in it. We like that. We like that around here. Okay, so for our last little mini topic here, I want to see if we can try and fill in some head coaching vacancies because Black Monday has come and gone. The regular season is over. Everybody and their mother is packing up and leaving town, and all the coaches are getting fired. Who's going to fill in next, I wonder, for some of these guys? Because I want to pose this first, and anybody can answer this. If Tyler Loop had made that kick, does Mike Tomlin get fired the other day instead of John Harbaugh?
Unpopular opinion, no.
Yeah,
I
don't
I
think
don't
he
know.
would have.
I just think the Steelers ownership are beyond. They are beyond stubborn.
I think so
guess
too.
It's one of those things where it's like he stuck around so much through the definition of mid after mid after mid season.
Yeah.
He stuck around. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
I mean, I think this man should have gone a few years ago, and he's still here or something. I mean, because he's not a coach. Tomlin's not a bad coach. I just think he just needs to go for his own sake. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I can never give a definitive yes because, well, I think he should. I don't know. I just don't know if he will. If he will.
Yeah,
And he still could if he loses to the Texans. It's still on the table for him to get fired. If he loses to the Texans, and if it's in a not so great fashion, it's still on the table to get fired after the first round.
that I was really wanting the death taxes and Steelers going 9-8 thing to be a trend. I really wanted it to be true and like come to life. But do I think I'm kind of with Nate on it? Like, do I think Mike Tomlin should kind of kick the can? Yeah, probably it's his time to go. But he's still able to give them 8 or 9 wins a season. And I just think that Pittsburgh, who else are they going to go get? I think that's been the biggest thing
Yeah,
for them. Is it's like if they get rid of Mike Tomlin,
That's
who else are they going to be able to pull
Right.
in there and still give them a winning to a 500 season that consistently?
Yeah. I
That's
think
the other
as
thing. I don't like this
yeah,
head coaching class.
I don't
love
either.
this head coaching class. So that's the other thing too with it. No, a lot of these coaches inspire me long term.
No. I think as far
Harbaugh
as
is the Will Smith by himself, looking at an empty room.
yes.
That's literally what John Harbaugh is in this coaching search.
Yeah.
I love using that meme
Yes.
whenever I can, and that is perfect.
It's him, Kevin Stefanski, and then assist.
Yeah.
Who else?
I think Stefanski's going to get another coaching job. I think the Steelers have been blessed with a division with owners that are also bad in the Bengals and Browns, where their only real competition every year is the Baltimore Ravens. I think they've been blessed with a division that has ownership that is just as bad or worse than the Steelers, just as far as like keeping up with like players and all that. Because to bring up the Packers again, the Steelers kind of run through their head coaches similar to how the Packers take care of their quarterbacks, where they've only ever had like one guy for 12 whole years. And you could probably argue Aaron Rodgers could have been gone a couple years before he did with the Packers. And I think the Steelers coaches could have been gone several years before they did as well. It's a very interesting look into that. But as far as the other coaches, which of these coaches that have been fired recently are actually going to get a head coaching job back? I'm looking at them now. I feel like the only one might be Stefanski. I think all the other guys, I think the Cardinals coach, Gannon, I think several of these other guys are going to go back to coordinator roles. I think Stefanski's the only one, which is shocking because he was formerly the Browns coach, but I think he's the coach that has the only real shot of being a head coach again next year.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Harbaugh get picked up somewhere else. But I saw something. I was actually at work whenever I got the notification that he got fired, and I'm looking at the TVs because we got ESPN on, and this was directly from Harbaugh's agent, said that he had 7 different teams reach out within 45 minutes of the news being broken that he had been fired. Now he's probably inflating those numbers, trying to make his guy that he is being the image for look a little bit better.
Yeah,
but I would not be surprised to see him fill in on another one of these roles.
Yeah. Which opening makes the most sense for John Harbaugh? Because he's the most experienced coaching candidate by a mile. What is the best landing spot for John Harbaugh? Or is it to go back to a coordinator role?
The Giants.
Giants? I could see Giants.
I think for that, it's like the best team out here. I think it's like the Giants. The Giants have the most appealing spot for a head coach to go to. And I don't know. It might be the Giants. That's where he's also been linked to a lot. It's the Giants.
Yeah. Do coaches like Cam Ward enough to consider the Titans?
I was about to say the Titans. That's where I'd be calling up if I was a coach looking for a job right now.
Yeah. That is where I think Stefanski might end up.
That's my concern. What are the Titans going to do?
Right. Exactly.
I don't trust the Titans because they don't know what they're doing over there.
Yeah, which is wild to say because they had a terrible record, but they had lots of really good individual play, just not a lot of good team play. And they all didn't do their individual greatness in the same game. The only guy that was consistent all year was Jeff Simmons. And that was it.
Yeah.
Well, there was I read something that said the Titans had they have over $100 million in cap space for this upcoming year too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, go out, sign a few free agents. I mean, it really, you got Cam Ward and you got a few individual guys that are really showing well. A lot of cap money can take you pretty far.
He has to have weapons.
Yeah.
He will be useless without them.
Yeah.
He was virtually useless this year for the Titans.
Yeah. Io Manor is good. DK is fun. I don't think Calvin Ridley needs to be a number 1 receiver anymore, and I think he needs to admit that to himself first. No. I think Okonkwo...
Such a great
Yeah, I think Okonkwo could use a buddy. I don't think he should be the tight end 1 all by himself. I think they should figure out a way to have Tyjae Spears run more. I think they need to figure out a way to fix the right side of their offensive line. And they need to pick up Ruben Bain in the draft.
Because of the injury issues. I got to push back on Spears. He has a significant injury history.
Yeah.
They can't afford to run him into the ground.
No, I don't think so either, but they have got to pick up a James Conner style powerhouse running back. Because Tony Pollard is not it.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah. It's like they had him.
Only they had a Derrick Henry.
Shocking.
It's unfortunate because I would like Spears. I would like to come out of the draft. I really liked him.
Yeah.
I thought he could be a solid back, and he's just had injury issues.
Yeah, he's a good running back. He's always impressive whenever he plays. I just don't know if he's a number 1 back.
The receivers are just a bunch of good potential role players, but no actual threats for real.
Yeah.
Anymore, at least, because Calvin Ridley's just not he's kind of just overpaid and no longer like that great player he once was. Cause I forget he's older than he's older.
Yeah.
I forget he's older. 'Cause
Let's hope
he came out of draft late.
Yep.
let's hope the Avengers base is locked up safe because the Titans owner might try to steal the time stone to go back and get Derrick Henry.
Literally. He could use that for A.J. Brown as well. Might make him hate Philadelphia less.
But she didn't want to trade. She didn't want to trade a Tony Pollard and somebody else to the Patriots because she didn't want to trade Pollard or somebody else to the Patriots because of issues with Vrabel. Like that's stupid.
Right.
That's why I don't trust the Titans. They just don't know how to do nothing. They don't know. I just don't trust the owner.
Their new stadium looks sick, though.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. That and Jeff Simmons and Cam Ward are the Titans' only redeeming qualities and only redeeming hope from this year, I think. I think what the Titans need to do is you're right, they need to go out there and actually spend money for once, and they need to draft Reuben Bain. That's what needs to happen in that order.
Yeah, go get Cam Ward's teammate.
Yeah.
And pick up a wide receiver somewhere, man. It doesn't have to be. You ain't got to go spend bank on somebody insane. There's going to be somebody that wants out of their team this year. You're going to have enough money to
A.J.
throw their way.
Brown.
Yeah, exactly.
Bring back A.J. Brown.
Somebody's going to want out of one of their situations. You just got to be there with the bag of money at the at the end. That's all that matters.
If you really wanted to go
he's
crazy,
he's
you
gonna
could
be
send the
available,
yard to Minnesota for Justin Jefferson.
Don't do that to him. Don't do that to him.
No.
Don't do that to him.
Yeah.
He might retire.
Yeah. Welcome to Bag Chaser University, my friend.
I'm seeing some love for the Titans taking Carnell Tate at number 4.
I don't mind that.
Ohio.
That's the right pick.
I like that.
That's not the best pick. If Reuben Bain goes
Yeah,
before the Titans pick, they absolutely should get Carnell Tate. They shouldn't just go after the next best edge guy. They should absolutely pick Carnell Tate if Reuben Bain happens to go before that pick. Because I feel like, I think the problem is the Giants are going to take Carnell Tate. If not, they're going to drop down and somebody else is going to come and jump up and they're going to take Spencer Fano a couple picks down.
See, here's the interesting thing to me. So you have the Raiders and the Jets who are going to be picking 1 and 2. And I just don't see either team moving out. I just think it's Mendoza and Moore in that order as it stands right now.
Yeah.
That could change after this week. We'll see. But I think that begs the question. The rest of the top 10 are teams that you could argue need receivers. This is not the most incredible wide receiver class. You have Carnell Tate, who's probably, I wouldn't even call him a slam dunk prospect, but he's probably the best well-rounded prospect. Jordan Tyson is your splash receiver, but he has a significant injury history.
Yeah.
Significant. And so questioning whether or not you're ever going to get him at full strength. And then you have Mekhi Lemon, who I think has upside similar to that of Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah. That's
but he's not
pull.
not big. He's more of like a possession guy.
No. He's also coming out of college a year early, isn't he?
I think so.
I think he came out a year early. I think he could have
the
gone
way
back to
Mekhi
school.
Lemon runs routes is so impressive. I just think he's going to end up being the best receiver in this class. He's the best at separating, in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah, I could buy that.
But there's so many teams in this first round that need receiver that are not going to get receiver because it's not a good enough class.
Yeah.
And beyond those three, the only other guy you're really feeling like is a first round guy is probably Denzel Boston,
Maybe.
Washington, and I'm not even convinced on that.
Yeah. He feels like
Ian Strong is going back to school. Ian Strong just committed to California, transferring from Rutgers to California, which is a wild move. But
yeah, Denzel Boston feels like a pick 33 selection, like a T. Higgins at pick 33 selection for Denzel
now the other
Boston.
guy that people are talking about is Casey Concepcion.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He might. I could see him maybe sneaking in late first.
Yeah.
With his
If he has a good combine, I can buy it.
He's most likely a day 2 pick, I think. Early second round pick guy.
Yeah. Well, with that, I think that's a good transition to kind of decelerate from here and say thank you to everybody for watching the Second Level Sports podcast. We are doing so much more. We've got a show of mine coming out here very soon called The Big Board. We've got lots of Asher stuff. We've got lots of Carter things coming. Nate and Clay have all got some really cool stuff coming for everybody to this channel. I'm very excited. It's going to be a huge year for Second Level Sports. So thank you guys for watching. Peace. All right.